What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here to break down the NFL Game of the Year here in Week 15 of the 2017 NFL season. The game that's been built up from basically Week 1, from all the way from last January's AFC Championship game. It's the rematch. It's the New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL's regular season Game of the Year. In Week 15, I'm going to break down this matchup. We're going to take a look at the history between these two teams, the statistics, and then we'll move on to the game plan and the matchups that will determine this game on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They do have a long history of being the two best teams in the AFC over the past 10 years or so, maybe even plus, basically since Tom Brady has come into the NFL. The Patriots and the Steelers have been two of the top dogs in the NFL. In their last 5 matchups, the New England Patriots are 4-1, and lifetime against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tom Brady is 10-2. The Pittsburgh Steelers also did get a victory in there against Matt Castle in one of their seasons that they went to the Super Bowl in 2008. Also to note, Tom Brady has had personal success against the Pittsburgh Steelers with 29 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, which is a 115.1 passer rating. That is also the best against any opponent he has ever played. Tom Brady has had the most individual success against the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that's something to mention right off the top. But let's get into the teams this season. Let's get into the 2017 New England Patriots versus the 2017 Pittsburgh Steelers and how they match up in terms of statistics. Now, statistics won't tell the full story, as I'll dive into the game plan and the matchups later on, but here is just a little bit of the basics right off the top. So the Patriots are 4th in points per game offensively and 5th in points per game defensively. It's actually crazy that they have really gotten into that top 5 defensively, considering in the first 4 weeks of the season they were the worst defense in the NFL. Then for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are 8th offensively, putting up points, and 7th defensively at stopping opponents. Yards per game is a little bit of a different story, while Pittsburgh is more of the well-balanced team. 4th offensively and 6th defensively, while the Patriots rank 2nd on offense and 29th on defense. Now, a lot has to be said about that. Of course, they were historically bad through the first 6 weeks of the NFL season, but since that point, they've been one of the best defenses in the NFL. So you could take that yardage stat as you wish. Some people like the yardage stat as a determiner for how good a defense or an offense is. Some people take only the point stat, so that's really up to you. The passing offenses and passing defenses, Pittsburgh, again, is more well-rounded in this category. 2nd offensively, right behind New England, who's actually indeed 1st offensively per game. And then passing defense, 4th for Pittsburgh, even though it's been weaker as of late. And 29th passing defense for New England, that has been stronger as of late, but again, started off really crappy. The running offense and defense, Pittsburgh 23rd offensively. Surprisingly, New England is 8 spots higher at running the football per game on an average at 15th. That probably has a lot to do with all the different running backs that they do use, while Pittsburgh primarily only uses one running back in Le'Veon Bell. The running defense, New England is 24th, which is probably the thing that they do worst defensively, and 9th, Pittsburgh, against the run, even though in the games that they have lost, like the Jaguars, the Bears game, they have shown some weakness, and recently against the Ravens, they've shown some weakness against the run. The turnover differential, New England is +7, which is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, while the Pittsburgh Steelers are even, and not really even close to the top teams in the NFL. Pittsburgh struggled, especially Big Ben struggled early on in the season with interceptions. He's recently been better in that category. New England, on the other hand, started off really well, especially Tom Brady, but recently Tom Brady's thrown a few interceptions in these past couple of weeks, which is rare for Tom Brady. So that number maybe moved back a little bit for New England, but they are still one of the best teams at taking the ball away and also at not giving the ball away. 3rd down offense and defense, New England ranks 8th on offense, while Pittsburgh ranks 6th on offense. Defensively, New England is 16th and Pittsburgh is 8th. So 3rd down, a lot of people like this stat for basically seeing how clutch a team is in a big situation on 3rd down. Pittsburgh is better on third down on both offense and defense. And then the red zone offense and defense, New England does take those two categories. Surprisingly, the surprising thing to me when I saw the stat was Pittsburgh is terrible in both offense and defense red zone percentage. That's at scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Not just scoring, but scoring touchdowns. Pittsburgh is 25th on red zone offense, which you would think that they would be a lot better, but I guess they do get a ton of yards, but early in the season they weren't really getting touchdowns. They were getting field goals, and that was even a problem with Pittsburgh last postseason. They weren't able to put the ball in the end zone. They were able to move the ball between the 20s, but not necessarily put it in the end zone. So they're 25th on offense, while New England is 13th on offense. That's usually a number that is better, but New England has actually struggled a little bit in the red zone at times. And defensively, Pittsburgh is 23rd in the red zone, which they've had good games, like remember the Lions game where they couldn't stop the Lions for anything, but they could stop them in the red zone. So Pittsburgh has been inconsistent in that category, but it is kind of crazy considering a team only has 2 losses, but is one of the worst teams in both offensive red zone percentage and defensive red zone percentage. New England is 7th in red zone defense percentage, which is almost double better than their offense, which is kind of crazy. But New England has been really, really good at slowing opponents down within the 20-yard line, getting into that end zone, which is absolutely crucial in a matchup between two high-potent offenses, which is the defense that can slow down that offense when it really matters most. And then looking at the records at the home and away, Pittsburgh's home record is 5-1, while New England as a visitor on the road are 6-1. So it's a pretty even matchup in that regard. New England has also had some success against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, but the only win that Pittsburgh has had with Mike Tomlin did come at home, so that is something to note. All right, so that is the stats. That is the history of these two teams. Okay, let's get into the matchups between the Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Patriots, when they have the ball, what will they be doing? In this game, I think it's actually key against the Steelers to be more balanced. I see the Patriots using a lot of play action and also using their backs a lot in the passing and the running game. I think that Lewis, especially in the run game, will be key, with Burkhead also sprinkling in as a receiver, and of course James White on third down. But I think that the Patriots can look at some tape against the Pittsburgh Steelers this season and see that they are a little susceptible against the run, and I think the Patriots will try to establish that early on, which will then open up some play action and some deep crossing routes to guys like Chris Hogan and Brandon Cooks down the field. Chris Hogan, if you remember in the AFC Championship game, did have 9 receptions for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game, so suspect Hogan to maybe slip in there, this will be his second game back from injury, and hopefully he'll have the rust off. And Brandon Cooks, I think, will also maybe get one deep play or two against this defense, who don't necessarily have the best secondary or cornerbacks to match up on Brandon Cooks. The biggest thing with this matchup when the Patriots have the ball and when the Steelers are defending them is Rob Gronkowski. I think Rob Gronkowski will be the vocal point for both the Patriots and for the Steelers stopping the Patriots. Gronk, and more Gronk is the strategy for the Patriots coming into this game. In 5 games that Gronk has played the Steelers, he's had 30 receptions, almost 500 yards, and 8 touchdowns in only 5 games. So Gronk is going to be the vocal point. I also think that with the success that Julian Edelman has had against this defense, I think we'll see Danny Amendola work underneath in some of those zone coverage concepts that the Steelers run in a lot of those cover 2s that they do play. I think that Amendola will sit underneath that coverage and eat up underneath with Rob Gronkowski kind of splitting the seam between the safeties. I think that's the Patriots' best approach to this, is working Amendola and those running backs underneath while also utilizing Gronk, Hogan, and Cooks down the field. I think that's the best way for the Patriots to approach it. A lot of run early and then to hit them over the top with the play action later on. So that's what I think the Patriots will be doing. Obviously, what will the Steelers be doing to stop them? Now, it will be big, I think, if Joe Hayden can play against Danny Amendola, because I think that would be the matchup. I think that Joe Hayden also allows the Steelers to play a little bit more man coverage in their secondary, which I think is the way to go against the Patriots. As we've seen in the past, it's been very difficult for the Steelers to play their heavy zone coverage scheme with their blitzing against Tom Brady, who's really eaten them up in the past. The biggest thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is not that they don't have the talent, it's that their scheme doesn't allow them to beat the Patriots. I think that Joe Hayden, if he does suit up, could be big in just slowing down Danny Amendola in this game, which would then allow other players to focus on Gronk and the running backs in that situation. Also, the biggest thing when playing Tom Brady and the New England Patriots is getting a pass rush, but it's not getting a pass rush through blitzing, which the Steelers love to do. It's getting a pass rush in the interior, up the middle, against Tom Brady, not allowing him to step up. Tom Brady is very good against edge rushers and getting around edge rushers and moving in the pocket to allow himself to get time to throw the ball down the field. But when it comes to guys going straight up the middle, like we saw with Ndamukong Suh of the Miami Dolphins last week, it's difficult for Tom Brady to have a lot of time to step up and make those throws, and oftentimes you'll see him kind of underthrow the ball. So I think that pass rush wise, yes, they have TJ Watt and James Harrison, who are okay. They're not anything special, but those are both edge rushers. I think for the Steelers to come and get some heat on Tom Brady, they're first have to disguise their blitzes, but they're also, if they want to blitz, they also need guys like Cam Hayward to have big days in the inside against Joe Thuney of the guard of the New England Patriots and David Andrews, the center of the New England Patriots. That's the best way to go for the Steelers to get pressure on Tom Brady. But other than that, they need to stop them in the red zone. They need to double team Rob Gronkowski as much as possible. And they need to play aggressive. They need to lay the wood on these Patriots receivers. They need to be hard on them at the line of scrimmage. And they need to make sure that the Patriots receivers don't get off the line easily. And that is the way to have success against the Patriots offense. Can the Steelers do that? I don't necessarily think that they'll have a ton of success stopping the Patriots. But if they can do some of these elements, they'll have an easier time of setting things up for their offense to win this game. So that's when the Patriots are playing offense and the Steelers are playing defense. Now, when the Steelers have the ball, what will the Steelers have to do to have success against the Patriots defense that's been playing well as of late? Well, I think that they, of course, need to find creative ways to get Antonio Brown the ball. And this is going to be the most difficult week of finding ways to get Antonio Brown the ball because Bill Belichick is the best defensive mind of all time, and he's also probably the best head coach of all time. So, in that regard, I think that Antonio Brown and what they do on offense, of course it runs through him, but the Patriots are always going to be prepared for him. They're going to have two guys on him at all times, and they're going to have to find different ways to get Antonio the ball, because without getting Antonio the ball, the Steelers most likely won't have a lot of success on offense, no matter who else they have on their offense. It's just a matter of fact that he is such a large portion to their team that they're going to have to find creative new ways to get him the football. And I think they can do that in some regard. I don't think that Antonio Brown will have the best game of his season by any means. I actually think that if any player is shut down of this Steelers team, it is Antonio Brown. But I think that Antonio Brown needs to find ways to get open, especially on third down and in the red zone to have success against the Patriots. Now, Le'Veon Bell, I think, is the key to this game. Le'Veon Bell must steal the show for the Steelers to win this game, especially in the passing game. The Patriots have in the past and recently struggled against pass-catching running backs. Le'Veon Bell needs to dominate in the pass game and in the run game, but most likely in the passing game, where Antonio Brown is most likely going to be taken away with two guys, three guys, shifted coverage, brackets on him all game long. Le'Veon Bell is going to have to step up. Whether that's against Patrick Chung, Devin McCourty, Deron Harmon, or Kyle Van Noy, Le'Veon Bell is going to have to find a way to get open, and he's going to have to steal the show. He's also going to have to break tackles and work past those tackles and get yards after the catch. Now, in the run game, Le'Veon Bell also has to have a lot of success. The Patriots have actually not been very good against the run this season. Last season, when they did face Le'Veon Bell, not only did he get hurt, but that was also facing a defense that was good against the run. It's going to be interesting to see what the Patriots do stopping the run this game. If Le'Veon Bell can get it going and can have a good game, this opens up their entire offense, and this also allows the Steelers to force the Patriots out of double coverage of Antonio Brown and to force another guy into the box, which will then hurt the Patriots over the top in their secondary. So, what will the Steelers do in terms of their run game, and what will they do to open up Bell and Brown in their passing game? But not only do they need to have the bees going, and not only does Ben have to stay away from being sloppy and throwing interceptions, but They need to find ways to get their secondary options open. Now, with the Patriots, we always know that their number one thing is taking away what you do best. And what the Steelers don't do best is finding their secondary receivers. That's Eli Rogers. That's Juju Smith-Schuster. That's James. That's McDonald's. That's Bryant. These guys need to step up, and they need to win their individual matchups in order for them to score points in this game. If they do not win their individual matchups, they will most likely lose this game because the Patriots will not lose by letting Bell and Brown beat them. So that being said, Juju, Rogers, James, McDonald, and Bryant will have to have some sort of decent game here. It's going to have to be one of these guys or a variety of these guys pitching in big situations. And what is their new wrinkle going to be on offense? Are the Steelers going to add a wrinkle or two? Because as we've seen in the games that the Patriots have lost, other teams this season have been able to adapt their game plan and change their game plan and add little things to their game plan in order to take Belichick off his game. The Chiefs did it. The Dolphins did it. The Panthers did it to a certain degree, even though I'd say the Patriots beat themselves there. But the Steelers need to add a wrinkle or two to their offense that the Patriots do not have on film. And if they can do that, that's even another advantage for them to win this game. All right, so that being said, the Steelers' offense is going to be probably the biggest crucial thing in this game. If the Steelers are able to move the ball up and down the field like they did against the Ravens, they have a high percentage chance of winning this game. If the Steelers' offense does not get it done, there is no chance they win this game. So the Steelers' offense is the X factor to this game. Now, that being said, that also means the Patriots' defense is the X factor to this game. What will the Patriots' defense do in this game? I think that they'll try and take away Antonio Brown and Bell. And the way that they will do that is that they will double team Antonio Brown with Malcolm Butler and Devin McCourty for a large portion of this game. Maybe Devin McCourty will take Le'Veon Bell. We'll see what happens there. But Butler and a combination of McCourty and Harmon will have their day on Antonio Brown all day long. And if Antonio Brown beats two players, then he beats two players. But they're not going to let Antonio Brown beat them. And for Bell, it's obviously more difficult to stop a running back with all the things that the Steelers are able to do with Le'Veon. But the biggest thing with stopping Bell is stopping first down runs. And the Patriots need to be successful at clogging those gaps that Bell likes to be patient and run through, and that's what they did really well in the AFC Championship. So we'll see what happens in that regard in this game, but Bell on first down, it has to be a key to the Patriots game. Then looking at some other individual matchups for the Patriots defense that they'll have to be successful in. Like I said, if the Steelers are going to have to be successful on offense, they're going to have to win their matchups other than Brown and Bell. And the Patriots are going to have to win their matchups other than stopping those two players. So that being said, I think that Stephon Gilmore will take Juju Smith-Schuster, which in my opinion does favor the Patriots. I think Juju is a good young receiver, but as of late, Stephon Gilmore has been a very good corner for the Patriots, and I would say is their best corner. Now, what I'm saying here is that I think their second corner, Butler, and their best safety will take Brown, leaving their second corner to play Juju Smith-Schuster. Then for the secondary matchups, I think Eric Rowe will be facing Martavis Bryant, which is a pretty even matchup in my opinion. Both players are kind of tall, they are long, they have nice athletic ability, and that could be a very even matchup with some plays being made by Bryant and some plays being made by Rowe. The other matchup that I find interesting is going to be Jonathan Jones and Eli Rogers. That's an interesting matchup to me because they're both small, quick players that I think is also a very even matchup. So these even matchups, Jones versus Rogers and Rowe versus Bryant, I think could go a long way to determining who is going to win this game. And then the other matchup, of course, is Le'Veon Bell in the pass game. Who's going to cover Bell? I think that's the Patriots' biggest weakness is covering Bell. Now, I think that the Patriots will have Patrick Chung covering Le'Veon Bell, which they don't often do, but when they have success and when they feel like there is a running back that can really hurt them in the passing game, they automatically put Patrick Chung on him. And I think that's what they're going to do in this game. I could also see Van Noy taking him a couple of times because, let's be honest, Bell isn't the most explosive down the field runner. He is very good agility-wise. So I wouldn't say that you're worried about Bell beating you deep. It's more about him beating you side to side. And I think Patrick Chung is a good matchup for that. Also, Kyle Van Noy could do okay against him in certain situations, but I would be more comfortable with Patrick Chung in that situation. But I think ultimately what it comes down to for the Patriots defense is how well are their safeties playing. Like I said, Patrick Chung will be huge against Le'Veon Bell. McCourty will be huge against Antonio Brown. And also Deron Harmon, their third safety, will have to come up big in deep coverage against guys like Martavis Bryant and Juju Smith-Schuster. So that being said, I think the Patriots' key to success on defense is how well their safeties play. And also, of course, stopping the run first. That's huge. Force field goals in the red zone for both defenses, and you'll have success in this game. Now, the last thing I want to bring up in terms of matchups is the special teams. The kicking has always been huge in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a very difficult place to kick. Boswell has been very excellent for the Pittsburgh Steelers as of late, and I think that continues. I also think that Gostkowski is a very good kicker, and I think that there's a pretty even matchup there. I would slightly give the advantage to Boswell because he is on his home field and he knows the Pittsburgh environment. When it comes to returning into other coverage aspects of special teams, the Patriots do have the advantage in that regard, as Lewis is a great kick returner. Danny Amendola will probably field some punts. He's pretty good in that regard. Yes, Antonio Brown will probably take some punts as well, and he's good. But the Patriots' coverage is amongst the best in the league, and they're always good at situationally kicking teams into bad parts of the field, where the Patriots rank first in average start position for any team in the league. So I think the special teams advantage does go to New England, but the offensive and defensive matchups, of course, will settle this game. When it comes down to it, I think that the Patriots are the better team, and I think that the Patriots are the team that just give too many issues to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, don't get me wrong, are a quality football team that could end up winning the Super Bowl this year. But when looking at these individual matchups, and as they match up as one Team A versus Team B, the Patriots always find a way to beat the Steelers, and the Patriots always have the number of the Steelers when it comes to scheme versus scheme. For whatever reason, the Pittsburgh Steelers scheme is not the scheme to beat the Patriots. I think that the Patriots, this is not a matter of talent, this is a matter of scheme. And when it comes down to it, I think the Patriots are the team that has the better coaching. I think at the end of the day, they have the better offense. And I think that their defense will be able to slow down the Steelers in the red zone a couple of times more than the Steelers' defense slows down the Patriots, giving them the advantage in this game to take it by a 34-24 score. Now, I think the Patriots will probably knock on a field goal at the end of the game, but this will be a highly contested, tight football game for a majority of it. I think the Steelers will find more success offensively than they have in the past couple of years. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady and his success against the Steelers cannot be messed with. Rob Gronkowski and his success against the Steelers cannot be messed with. And Bill Belichick and his scheme to take away the best players in the NFL cannot be denied. So I have the Patriots winning this game, and I think this is going to be an excellent game. But those are my thoughts, my opinions, and what I think about this 2017 regular season game of the year between the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a long one, but if you did enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more NFL content. I wanted to give you an in-depth look at the Steelers and the Patriots, and I hope you enjoyed that aspect of it. From Mitch, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your opinions on this game. Who's going to take it, who's going to win, and why. Thanks. Peace out.